I'm Alex Ernst.
And this is your Weird National News. A woman in Michigan turned herself into the police after stealing a pair of shoes signed by Hulk Hogan. UPI.com reports that a woman who wished to remain unnamed was caught on camera last Sunday snagging $5,500 shoes. Then, Thursday morning, the store got a call from the woman who said she had, quote, done a stupid thing. The woman made plans to return the shoes, and at this time she faces no charges.
Wow, $5,500.
Why would you steal those shoes? Who cares about Hulk Hogan anymore?
3 female elephants escaped a circus in St. Louis, according to the UPI. Several vehicles were damaged this past Saturday afternoon. Thankfully, no one was injured as the elephants stormed the nearby parking lot. People were running after them, trying to stop them, and eventually the handlers were able to calm them and put them back in captivity. It took about 45 minutes total to get them under control, but they were resting comfortably once they were back in their cells. If I were an animal in captivity, I probably would do the same thing.
Reminds me of Jumanji. I just imagine, like,
Storming.
just running through the streets. A man in Colo, Iowa lost 36 pounds after eating nothing but McDonald's for 90 days. According to USA Today, John Cisna had his high school students lay out a strict calorie guideline for each of his meals. These guidelines were based on a diet of 2,000 calories per day, and Cisna ate from all over the McDonald's menu. Cisna was trying to teach his students that it's not about where you eat that matters, but what you eat.
I'm impressed.
I mean,
that food's pretty greasy. So
you have a lot of healthy options now.
According to the UPI, a British school does away with teachers using red ink when grading assignments. They claim it is too harsh and is a negative color. They encourage the use of green and purple pens instead. This new system is designed to encourage communication between teachers and students. Also, they are encouraging that students consider the teacher's comments before skimming for the final grade. This is designed for the students to improve on their next assignment and not be as upset as if there was a negative grade written in red at the end.
Tanya, school's getting too soft.
I agree.
Who's afraid of the color red? Like, actually.
And this is like high school. It's not like they're little kids. I mean, suck it up.
An 8-month-old baby in Colombia already weighs 44 pounds. Santiago Mendoza should weigh about 17 pounds for his age, but sadly he weighs more than twice that amount. His mother, Eunice Vandillo, took Santiago to the capital city in Colombia for a medical evaluation, where they mandated a diet strictly of fruits and vegetables. According to NBC News, Santiago's obesity comes from being overfed. The excess of feeding has been stunting Santiago's development, keeping him from learning how to roll over or crawl.
Oh, that's just sad.
It's all the mom's fault. It's not like that kid can go and get snacks.
For going strictly vegan, that's pretty intense. A food fight at the Golden Corral among senior citizens ended with a woman behind bars at the age of 64. According to the UPI, this occurred in North Carolina, and the woman was charged with 2 counts of assault and battery after she started it on Tuesday afternoon. Apparently it started when a 69-year-old man cut the woman in line, so she cursed at him, grabbed his shirt, and threw him against the wall, then slapped him. She then threw a plate which hit another man and cut his leg. When she was under arrest, she asked the police to just put her in jail already. She was jailed on a $1,500 bond. Those crazy senior citizens.
Whenever I hear about old people fighting, I feel like it's just so unreal. You know? You feel like you only hear about that in movies.
Right. I wish I was there to witness that.
Long Island authorities have discovered a pesticide-free way to get rid of invasive weeds: goats. According to NBC New York, Southampton Long Island residents can rent goats to eat their unwanted lawn plants. Farmer Larry Sinak says that goats love plants that most humans hate. In fact, goats' favorite plant is poison ivy.
And they have no reaction to that?
Apparently not.
That's amazing. That's a good idea. According to the UPI, a man was arrested for exceeding the allotted speaking time at his township board meeting. He is now facing felony charges after he resisted and obstructed a police officer and a misdemeanor count for disturbing the peace after exceeding the 3-minute time limit. The 59-year-old was airing his grievances about the local government when he was then asked to wrap it up. He refused and talked over him, leading the police officers dragging him out of the meeting. He's been escorted out several times before, but this is the first time he was arrested. Adams told Fox that freedom of speech doesn't have a time limitation. There's no time limitation when you talk about our constitutional freedoms. He wouldn't have been arrested if he had just sat down when he was supposed to.
Well, at least he's passionate about what he's talking.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, that's all for our Weird National News, but stay tuned because when we come back, we have Susanna and Jacob with This or That.
Welcome back to the weekly What's Up. I'm Susanna Shepard.
And I'm Jacob Clore.
And this is This or That.
This week, since it's like the middle of March Madness, we are going to be arguing college versus professional sports. Have you filled out your bracket yet, Susanna?
I most certainly have. Kentucky Wildcats fan #1 right here. They're going to win it all, just like they did a couple years ago.
Woo!
They got to come back this year. Calipari's got it themselves a good team. I believe in them.
Yeah. I don't really follow sports too much. I haven't really filled out a bracket. I see everything on Twitter, but
You have to fill out a bracket. Did you know that there was a thing to do you could win $1 billion this
I heard
year?
about that, kind of
If you haven't filled out a
but-
bracket, well, it would kind of be cheating at this point if you filled out a
Yeah.
bracket. But just that would be awesome. But anyways, since it is March Madness, we're going to be debating professional versus collegiate sports today.
Collegiate sports, nah, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the good thing about the National Football League and NBA and all those other professional sports leagues is that you do have trades, but you have those certain players like your Tom Brady's, your Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. This kind of not necessarily the stars, but the kind of the faces of the team, and you get to root for them for a very long time. And I think that's definitely because with college sports you have 4 years with them. You don't have to part with them in professional sports.
See, I disagree because when you have collegiate sports, you grow to love that one person, and then they can move on to the professional sports, and then you get to keep watching them. Although I personally don't watch professional sports because I don't like them. I feel, I really don't. I feel like professional sports are such a hypocrite. They're so hypocritical because it takes away the meaning behind the sport. High school, especially, play because they love the sport. College, I feel like they still play because they love the sport, but there's still that essence of fame that you get. And then once you get to the professional level, I feel like they're just playing to make those millions, and I really don't like that about professional sports.
I mean, a lot of players in the professional sports leagues are playing to have fun. I mean, you do something for the love of it, and I think they're definitely doing it for the love of it. And I mean, there is that added bonus of a couple $1 million every year, but I think there are players in the national leagues that are playing it
But
for the
see,
love of it.
they leave their collegiate sports early. Okay, for college football, for the most part, they have to go the majority of their career. But basketball, you can go straight from high school into the NBA, and I don't think that's right. I mean, what happens if they get injured in the NBA and kaput? They don't have a college career. They have no backup plan. So they're just stuck. They're going to spend their money and end up bankrupt. And I don't condone it. And when you watch the sports, basketball, especially for the NBA, all they do is run back and forth, back and forth. They make a couple dunks, but there's no defense. There's no plays set up. It's just shooting, taking turns shooting the ball into a hoop. What's exciting about that compared to the plays and the setup? And it's so much more entertaining at the college level.
You don't like high-scoring games? They're so much fun.
But I like high-scoring games when there's plays set up behind it where you can see them pass, and then there's defense and different zones of defense and different, you see them going, and you can tell what they're thinking compared to just running up and down a court shooting back and forth. That's boring to me.
Well, I think so. I think it's funner when you have that more fast pace to it. I mean, going to a couple collegiate games here, you're kind of just watching them keep going down, and maybe it takes them a couple drives down the court to score. I mean, with the NBA, But I also think one of the coolest things about, I guess, specifically professional football is you have these big events at the end of the season, like the Super Bowl. I think they're a lot of fun, and you get a huge crowd of I don't know, over 100 million viewers together watching the same event. I think it's really cool just to watch that camaraderie between the whole country.
I don't know. With the Super Bowl, I watch it for the halftime show, especially Beyonce's when she shut down the entire halftime show, and for the commercials, which even on the news, they have a segment about the commercials the next day. It's more about the entertainment during the show than the actual game, I feel. And then when you watch the national championship, there's so many people who love their sports, who went to college there, who feel that connection with the university, who cheer for the game and not just the entertainment at halftime.
Well, there's still the connection between the team you're rooting for. I mean, I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and whenever they make the Super Bowl, I go wild because it's so much fun to watch them.
I'll agree with you on that. I do like Pittsburgh because that's my father's team, and Hines, not Hines, one of the football players is from an area where I'm from, so I kind of feel like I should root for them because he gave a high school near me a new field. But other than that, I have no connection to the National Football League. When it comes to college, I root for my Hokies. I go to school here. There's such a difference.
I mean, that is pretty cool, yeah.
I mean,
I think the problem with collegiate sports is there's also that tendency of like, I guess, like professional sports are kind of causing this problem with TAB. You have the people who are just going to the college because they want like the gateway to the professional sport. I mean, I don't know. I think you just have these problems with the, the academic scandals where like a college will like maybe like wipe away an F here or there just to like keep the football or baseball or whatever sport in. I think there's definitely that problem with collegiate sports that needs to be fixed.
That is a problem. You coaches out there, fix that, because I can't say that that's a good thing that collegiate sports do, just like that whole Cam Newton trial down at Clemson. That was not okay. There was so much negative press with that. And, like, didn't he transfer from one school to the next just to play? And didn't they, like, pay him to play in college? I mean, I know I'm going against my argument here. I've already said a million awesome supporting views for collegiate sports, but at the same time, you did have a point there.
But, I mean, there are some things that can be fixed, but I definitely think that is definitely one of them. And the thing with collegiate sports is that how many colleges are in the U.S.? There is so many, and you have, like, 5, 6, depending on what state you're in, like per state. But with like the NFL, the NBA, and with like professional soccer and stuff like that, you're divided kind of like into certain regions. So there's like a lot less of like, ooh, who do I go for? It's more like, I have a few choices, but it's not too overwhelming, I think.
That's true, yeah, because then like when it comes to like tournaments and stuff, they always go with the larger schools than the smaller schools. I can see where you're coming
It's
from
hard to
with
like.
that. But another point that I have for collegiate, which I think is a good thing, is during like just like now, baseball season's up, softball, track's starting to start, basketball is slowing down, the spring football game is coming up. There's so many things happening at the same time to where you can't ever be bored. Like you can go to different games and it doesn't matter. There's always something to do to entertain you to watch. And with the NFL, they only have certain times of the year when they're playing. And like if you don't like one of the sports, too bad, so sad, you don't have another sport to watch.
Well, the thing is also with collegiate sports, you don't have the kind of coverage that you do with a lot of the professional sports. I mean, granted, you have the college football and maybe the college basketball, which get a lot of, national TV coverage, but you don't see, like, collegiate golf going on or, like, collegiate swimming. You have to be there at the event to watch it. So the good thing about professional sports is that you have it's more broadcasted. You have, like, the golf, I can't think of the name, but you have the one in Georgia, that one. And you have like the Olympics and all those other like professional arenas where you can watch them. I cannot think of like
high schoolers and collegiate people are in the Olympics, right?
That's true.
Right? Okay.
But,
so
I mean, it's just funny. I can't think of that name. Is it the Masters?
The Masters.
Yeah, there we go.
PGA Tour.
You can see how well versed I am in golf, but I don't know.
I feel like this is a pretty good tie this week. You'll have to tell us what you think in the comments on this one.
Yeah, I'm still going my professional
I'm
sports
going
here.
with collegiate, so there we go. There's no way to tell unless you guys tell us which one wins.
I'm sticking with it. Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for this or that, but stay tuned because when we come back, we'll have Corey and Olivia with Girls vs. Food.
Hi, welcome back to Weekly What's Up.
I'm Corey Purvis,
And I'm Olivia Brescia.
and this is Girls vs. Food. Today in Girls vs. Food, we are excited to inform you all with several facts about the origin of all our favorite foods.
To start with, let's talk about the good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie. A simple cooking error led to the creation of the now classic Nestle Toll House chocolate chip cookie. In 1930, Ruth Wakefield, who ran the Toll House Inn in Massachusetts, added chopped pieces of semi-sweet chocolate bar to her butter drop cookie dough, expecting the chunks to melt. But the chocolate only softened and held its shape. The cookies were a hit in her inn. Eventually, Ruth's recipe was published in a Boston newspaper and ended up on the wrapper of the Nestle semi-sweet chocolate bar.
I thought chocolate chip cookies had been around for like hundreds of years.
Apparently not. Like 70.
It's not, yeah. Kids and adults alike collect Pez dispensers to store the beloved candies. But Pez wasn't always so fruity. It was developed as a peppermint candy more than 7 years ago in Vienna and marketed as a cigarette substitute. In fact, the name Pez was derived from the German word for peppermint, Pfefferminz. Although Pez has come a long way from its anti-smoking roots, it's still a popular treat. Today, more than 3 billion Pez candies are consumed annually in the U.S.
They should use this as like ad campaigns to prevent smoking.
Yes, Pez, here's
Hello, Pez.
better than like Nicorette gum.
A chef reportedly invented potato chips in 1853, but he wasn't trying to make the world's best snack food.
Chef George Crumb sent the paper-thin potatoes cooked until they were crisp to a customer in his Saratoga Springs restaurant who complained that his fries were too thin. Saratoga chips became a menu favorite, but potato chips didn't gain widespread popularity until they were mass-produced in the 1920s.
Another one I thought has been around forever, but guess not again. You can thank an absent-minded 11-year-old for your favorite summer treat. On a cold night in 1905, Frank Epperson left a mixture of powdered soda, water, and a stick in a cup on his porch. The next day, Epperson found a frozen pop he called the Epsicle. His friends loved the frozen treats, and so did his own kids in later years. They always wanted Popsicle. In 1923, Epperson applied for a patent and then sold the rights to the brand name Popsicle to the Joe Low Company in New York.
I feel like you can make a popsicle out of literally anything.
You literally just put juice in the
You
freezer.
freeze it,
Like,
and it's a popsicle.
I don't know why he got the recognition for this, but whatever.
Have you ever wondered how the classic breakfast cereal Corn Flakes came to be? While experimenting with shredded wheat cereal, W.K. Kellogg and his brother, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, accidentally discovered the process of creating flake cereal. W.K. persuaded John Harvey to start a commercial cereal business. They named it Battle Creek Toasted Corn Flake Company. Production of Kellogg's Toasted Corn Flakes began in 1906. Although the packaging has changed, Kellogg's Corn Flakes still grace grocery shelves today.
I hate cornflakes.
Me too. They're flavorless
That's a
and
fake
disgusting.
cereal. There's no point to those.
Start.
Don't really care about that fact. When summer just around the corner, you'll want to start stocking up on ice cream and ice cream cones. The International Association of Ice Cream Manufacturers credits a pastry vendor at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis with the birth of the waffle cone. Ernst A. Hamwee was selling a crisp, sugary, warm waffle at the fair. One day, Hamwee rolled his waffles into a cone and gave them to the ice cream vendor next door, who filled them with ice cream. Visitors devoured what they called World's Fair cornucopias. At the fair's end, fairgoers took the idea home with them across the country and around the world.
The smell of fresh waffle cones is mouth-watering.
I know.
I work at an ice cream shop over the
Oh,
summer.
really?
I make that all the time. Another summer treat that we all know and love is Cracker Jacks, and there is an interesting story of how they got their name. In 1893, F.W. Rucklum and his brother introduced caramel-coated popcorn and peanuts at Chicago's first World Fair. In 1896, Louis Rucklum, F.W.'s brother and partner, discovered how to keep the popcorn morsels from sticking together. Louis gave the treat to a salesman who explained, "That's Cracker Jack." F.W. had the world's trademark. The treat's name was later immortalized in the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Is that like a common saying back then?
Cracker Jack.
That's Cracker Jack.
I'm gonna say that from now on when I'm like excited.
Our last piece of food history involves the creation of an appliance that is so important to all of us college kids, the microwave. In 1945, Raytheon scientist Percy Spencer noticed that a candy bar in his pocket began to melt as soon as he stood in front of an active magnetron tube. He conducted experiments with kernels of popcorn and a raw egg, ultimately discovering that microwave radio signals cook food. In 1947, Raytheon demonstrated the world's first microwave oven called Radarange. Housed in refrigerator-sized cabinets, the massive microwave cost between $2,000 and $3,000.
My microwave is my best friend.
I know. Can you imagine spending $2,000 on it, though?
I probably would. Well, that's all we have time for this week on Girls vs. Food, but be sure to tune back next week to see the weekly What's Up.
Welcome back to Weekly What's Up. I'm Macy Kinder,
And I'm Miranda Miller.
and these are your weird fast food facts.
Every month, approximately 9 out of 10 American children visit a McDonald's restaurant.
Isn't that kind of sad, actually, if you think about like 9 out of 10 every month?
Every month.
So is that the same 10 every month going to the same fast food?
Well, they would be definitely obese and more than.
Just think of all those Happy Meals.
This is how we're getting obese, America. We're bringing our children to McDonald's every month at least. More than once, definitely.
Hash browns have more fat and calories than a cheeseburger or Big Mac. Now this is the one that
That's
kind of
super
shocked me at
sad.
first, because hash browns, there's not that much to them. What is it? It's like
It's just a potato.
but there's more fat in it than a
It's
Big
probably
Mac,
just all
which kind of
grease.
grosses me out, because knowing me, I would go somewhere like that and like get something small like a hash brown, and of course it's like twice as much.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I don't know. There are more than 300,000 fast food restaurants in the U.S.
Which is just a good
Sad.
sample of what we are.
Yes.
Fast food, like you are what you eat. America is fast food. Like when I went to Europe this summer, there was like hardly any fast food restaurant, except like the occasional McDonald's, or Starbucks isn't fast food, but you might see like a chain store over
Yeah.
there like that.
And this is why we're known as the most obese nation. For that exact reason.
When France refused to join the American-led coalition against Iraq, some Republicans argued that the name French fries be changed to Liberty Fries. I thought it wasn't even named from France anyways.
No, I don't think that's where they came from in general.
I think French fries was just a random name.
Uh-huh.
Like, isn't there something else like Belgian
Liberty
waffles are
fries?
from Belgium?
Liberty Fries.
Yeah, you could order like a side of Liberty. You know, I'd like that hamburger as a side of Liberty.
Can I supersize my Liberty Fries?
Is that like more freedom? You should have the freedom to have more
The
fries.
freedom to have more fries. In-N-Out Burger is one of the few fast food restaurants that actually slice each potato by hand shortly before putting it in the deep fryer.
I kind of want to go there if I'm going to get my food because
Sounds
I know
like
it's fresh.
Yeah, it sounds like a more healthier choice. Like,
You know, where I work, you know, it's fast food, but
Mhm.
we pour it out of a bag. Won't name names so none of you get scared to come where I work, but I don't know, that just sounds better.
mm-hmm. Oh, it's definitely fresh. I would have to say that.
The first McDonald mascot was Speedy, a little chef with a hamburger hat. Actually, I really feel like I saw this because I went to Panama City Beach for spring break, and there was a McDonald's, and on the arch was a different mascot.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't,
That's
because
weird.
everyone made a
considering
point about it.
It's
They're
still
like,
in the U.S. though.
so they must have just not changed it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
That's
it's
weird,
the original
actually.
mascot was Little Chef, and then they picked a creepy
creepy crown.
clown.
Burger King's Triple Whopper with cheese has over 1,230 calories.
Delicious, right?
These are actually making me not want to go to fast food.
I know. I was
anymore.
just thinking about how much I wanted dinner, and then now I'm like, oh, I
A
don't even know
little
what to eat anymore.
sandwich the size of your fist is over
Over that
1,200 calories.
and that's not even including like drink and
Drink
fries.
or fries, or if you get anything else. Keep that in mind.
1 out of 8 Americans have been employed by McDonald's. That also goes back to like the kids one. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Actually, my parents worked at McDonald's.
But they're probably all starting as teenagers. Like, there's a very slim few that actually stay in a fast food restaurant their whole lives as their
Yeah.
career.
I feel like you get kind of tired of it and you need
Yeah.
to move on.
It's definitely not something you would want to see yourself being at in 20
But
years.
did you know the people that own McDonald's, in order to own a McDonald's, you have to have $1 million in liquid assets?
What?
$1 million. You have to own a Chick-fil-A, you just need $10,000 in assets. To own a McDonald's, you need $1 million. So those
Oh my
people are actually quite
gosh.
rich. Yeah, those CEOs are quite rich.
Yeah, but compared to actually working there and then owning the whole company, I would much rather own the whole company than work there.
Well, I saw online somewhere that the people that own McDonald's have an anti-union. They make sure that all their employees are not in a union, so they can actually they don't have to raise minimum
Oh.
wage for them.
That does make sense. Hamburgers are not served in India out of respect to Hindu beliefs.
And I understand
That
this.
does make a lot of sense, actually.
Aren't there grandparents,
Mhm.
cows?
Yeah, well, they don't eat beef and meat.
Isn't that why though?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
that
does
makes
make
sense.
sense.
So what do you think they eat?
Pork. Do they eat
A
pork?
Can they eat pork?
Chicken?
A chicken hamburger, chicken burger. So
Chicken?
basically Chick-fil-A.
Well, that's all the weird fast food facts we have. But tune in next week for some more weird news. I'm Rhiannon Miller.
And I'm Macy Kinder. Have a great day.